Do you think OKR is snake oil? That's a trick question. Let's get started. The name of the talk is Gelaber eats OKR for breakfast. Of course, I stole the title from Peter Drucker, but I liked it. So, Gelaber. For the non-native German speakers, Gelaber is something like, Alan called it waffling. I didn't know that before. I added it on short notice here. Or blathering, or prattling, babbling, saying nothing with a lot of words. And Gelaber is a language spoken in several countries. And for this talk, I have two countries. I call these countries Blurristan and Tuscany. Blurristan, this kind of blurry goals, some vague statements, and you don't know what is meant by that. And Tuscany is just a rapid fire of information about small tasks that someone did, and you don't get the big picture. So, how does it sound like? Gelaber, waffling in Blurristan. It's something like, for example, our organization is dedicated to achieving operational synergy through leveraging our core competencies and maximizing on our human capital. We have a very holistic approach, and we strive to a culture of accountability and continuous improvement with a lot of empowerment of our stakeholders. And through all the strategic alignment, we will gain this excellence we all need. This is Blurristan Gelaber. And I hope you never heard such a statement before, but I doubt you haven't. How does it sound in Tuscany? So Gelaber, waffling in Tuscany, sounds like, yeah, since our last OKR meeting, our team discussed the progress of various tasks. So, for example, the purple task was completed, as well as a fluffy one. The stripe task is still in progress and needs some further attention. The polka dot task was not completed, but will be tackled in the next sprint. The team also discussed the impact of the rainbow task and the overall goals. And overall, the last 2 weeks were productive, and the team is still laser focused on achieving their goals. So this is waffling in Tuscany. And you know what? An AI created two statements. Only 3 hours ago, I played around with this ChatGPT AI, and I fed in the statements here. Give me some absurd management phrases without any real meaning, 100 words, and that shall sound like a parody. And what I just read to you was what this AI delivered to me. So it was funny for me and very, very scary, because this AI has to be trained by some real statements. So meaning this Gelaber, this waffling is a very real danger. So 2 countries, but back to my talk. The purpose of my talk is I'm about to share some of my own learnings when it comes to OKR blathering, about the way we talk in our meetings. If it goes well, I inspire some talks, some discussions, some thoughts afterwards. That would be my ideal outcome. And it's about the way we talk in OKR. Disclaimer, I'm not a consultant, I'm an in-house coach, so I'm not about to sell you some frameworks, tools, and I have no recipes or solution whatsoever. I just share some pains we have, some learnings we have. Maybe you can steal some of our learnings. Probably not. I just share it with you. The ugly truth is, I guess most of my colleagues don't like OKR. And it's partly my fault. It's my fault because I work as an agile coach. The last few years, I also worked in the same company as an OKR coach. And I also spent time as an OKR employee, someone that works on actual objectives. So I know all the sides of the table. And I'm with the company Tesla for 4 years now. And I will give you some more context about Tesla in a second. To give you the chance to leave the session early. So my key points I want to deliver is talking about goals is way more important than all the talk about metrics. Saying no is way more important in OKR than you might think. And if you create an environment where the people are able to have an honest, inspiring talk about goals, then you don't need OKR at all. You can forget about it. That's my key points. If you stay here, I'm glad. If not, fair enough. So I give you some context about Tesla and our OKR history. And then I picked a few areas where I can share Gelaber, blathering stories from our company. I picked the strategic talk, the one that is the foundation for all this OKR work, the way we do plannings, and the way we do our check-ins. I will not talk about reviews and retrospective because of the time. So, OKRs at Tesla. Tesla is a company based in Nuremberg, Germany. We are roughly 500, we call ourselves Teslarists, and the company exists for more than 20 years. And we are kind of an international company, so business language is English. We are the creators of a software. It's called PRDG, and it's a monitoring software. You can monitor everything from the temperature of your hard drive until the CO2 consumption of some building. And we have around 500,000 users, so it's a quite big user base. And when it comes to OKRs, we started 2018. I joined the company 2019. And we do OKR quarters. And at the moment, we have 4 to 5 big goals or moles with 2 to 4 objectives each. And we decided right from the start, and it was a glorious decision to do no cascading down to the single team. And we have at the moment one full-time in-house coach as an OKR coach. That's Toby. Maybe he's even here in this session. And we did it for several years, the two of us. But now I step back, do some other stuff in the company, but we have dedicated OKR coaches. So when it comes to the people involved, still giving you some context about our OKR history. When we started, it was like, whoa, OKR is supposed to be for everyone. We want to share the strategic thinking with all the company. And we had big meetings with 90 plus people being involved in OKR. And it was kind of a disaster. Everyone was engaged, but it was a mess. It was like Babylon blathering. So without any bad intention, the people in this company are really, really great. But if you have such a large amount of Teslarists at one spot, it's kind of heavy. So it was reduced over time, 60 people, 40 people. At the same time, the company grew, and it gets smaller and smaller. Right now, we are roughly 30 Teslarists being actively involved in shaping the objectives and key results out of roughly 400. It seems to work really well. Of course, a lot more people are involved in executing the objectives, but the planning stuff is roughly done by 30. And the complete C-level is involved. And this already created the first aha moment for me over the last years. So OKR doesn't need to be for everyone. It's totally okay if you focus on your daily work. Not everyone wants to do the strategic thinking all the time. There's nothing wrong with doing your specialist job. So for me, less is more. And it's important. It was it still is very important for that Pessler to create the chance for real conversations that avoid all this blathering, the Gelaber, to give people that are not involved in OKRs the chance to grasp it, to get a grip on it. And one of the occasions where it worked like magic was when we call it OKR gallery walks. They happen after the OKR reviews. The reviews are for the involved persons, and the gallery walk is like an in-house fair, so showing what we created. And in the beginning, it was very lame. And then one hot summer day, we just grabbed our ice box, dragged it in front of our building, put all the pin boards beside it, and said, hey, we will give you 1 hour. We answer all your questions, get informed. And it worked like magic. So in the end, the ice cream was not really needed. It was just changing the setting from staring at a conference screen on a projector to having a conversation about this goal. And this is what was my first eye-opener. So, whoa, it's about the way we talk about our goals. It's not about a perfect phrasing on some Confluence page. It's about this conversation. And this brings us to the next actual topic of this talk, moving this conversation in strategic altitude. So raising the flight level. So strategic talk in Pessler is more like Blurristan, handing out, or it was like Blurristan. It changed quite a bit. So we did have a strategy, but it evolved over time. So our strategy history. So when OKR started, there was a kind of strategy and purpose in place, but it was not as a North Star. It was there, but it gave not that much of orientation for the daily work. OKR was introduced, and it was hard enough to get all these processes running. So we didn't use the strategy as a guide back then. We were just busy doing this, I will not call it cargo cult, but to keep the machine alive. It was hard to get the tooling right. In 2020, we refined our long-term strategy in the company, reshaped our purpose, our mission statement. It was quite cool. It created a lot of buzz. We could now understand why it is cool to work for Pessler, what our products can really contribute to, actually to humankind. So it was cool. OKR went in parallel, and you see, I put a little distance between the long-term strategy and this OKR part because they were kind of disconnected. We didn't manage back then to create a link between our strategy and the OKR. And that was not really helpful. It created no harm, but the impact was not that high. So when the pandemic started, for some reason, I don't get it right now, we try to put all in OKR what we have. So OKR sometimes look as a replacement for normal project management. And I would love to hear more of Alan's thoughts, because he suggested doing all in OKR. For us, it didn't work at all. So not every project needs a visibility of OKR. And it was and still is very hard to keep normal project management out of OKRs. Back then, we did a lot of objectives and forgot about our reshaped long-term strategy. So we went back to daily work, feeding the OKR machine. We tried and we managed to reduce the objectives. We managed to put project management out of OKR again. We created some little checklists. So is it strategic? No. Hey, then keep it out. Does it need the visibility of OKR to get something started or finished? No. Okay, out of it. That really helped. And then we had kind of a light moment, or a hell moment, a Heureka moment. actually our top management. So, hey, we created the long-term strategy. And of course, it sounds blurry if you talk about stuff that is 7 years into the future. What about the midterm strategy? So in this year, we added more details for a midterm strategy to our OKRs, to our strategic work, just to make it easier for the OKRs to connect to it. Project management is still outside, and now it looks very kind of promising because we are closing a gap. So this is an actual slide from the presentation C-level gave to the whole company a few months ago. So you know this normal layers. Yeah, you have a vision, a mission, a strategy, and tactics and operations. So different flight levels. We have our own terms. We have a metaphor with a sailing ship sailing to some distant new islands. We call this vision journey to 2030. And down there we have the OKRs. And you see, OKRs have a time span. We have molds with 1 year. Our long-term strategy was to 2030, so 7 years. And you see this gap. This gap made it very hard to translate these blurry stance statements into something tangible. So we added the midterm strategy. We call it Program to 2030. And management uses now something we stole from, for example, Amazon, called working backwards. Again, this is a real slide. I just blurred the actual strategic content, and I try to have some laser pointer. So it's our sailing ship. We as a company trying to sail here 3 years into the future. End of 2025. Hey, dear paddlers, end of 2025, we aim to be at this island. It looks like this. In 3 years, we want to be here. So working back from here, 1 year back, where do we have to be 1 year back? Jumping back 1 more year, what do you have to exist 1 year back? And in the end, this one here, it's 1 year into the future. And this is actually our MOL, our annual OKR goal. But the difference to former times is now you know what is the bigger picture, what comes next. This year you see it's blurry. You don't know exactly what it is, but you know the direction, and it helps. And even without having the need for Steve Jobs types of speakers, our management is now able and willing to make strategic storytelling that tells a story. And this midterm strategy is not created only by the C-level, but by a group of maybe 15 to 20 core people out of the whole company. So not full-time strategists, but part-time strategists. And because they are shaping this working backward thingy, they have the strategic story already in their head. So if we start a planning period, we don't start from scratch, but from something. It's still hard. It's hard, but the aha moments so far was, hey, strategic storytelling, whoa, so easy, but we had to learn it the hard way. Outsourcing the midterm strategy out from the heads of only the C-level, share it with some area strategists to broaden the knowledge. It's about the filling the gaps to avoid this blathering about some distant goals by replacing it with some tangible stuff. And one of the surprise learnings, probably like most of you guys, we turned into a hybrid or remote company through the pandemic. We will stay a hybrid company. I have now a home office work contract, and we did all our plannings, of course, remote. For this midterm strategy work with this bunch of strategic people, we went back to on-site presence workshops, and it was a hammer. It was really, really amazing to see how much different it makes if you talk about strategy in one room. It was really cool. And this photo is just a few weeks old. And we do now one strategy day once a month, a full day dedicated to midterm strategy. It's loosely coupled to OKR. So the result is, yeah, the basis for the annual OKRs, but it's not a replacement. So in the end, it meant we started with a lot of blurry stuff, a lot of blurry Geschwafel about distant goals without some bad intentions. It's not gone, but I blurred it 85%. So still something there, but it helped. It really helped. We have less Gelaber now about strategy. But how about the planning? So I showed you some thoughts about strategy. The planning is where the magic happens, where you actually create your objective and key results. Looking at our two countries where blathering happened, for us with Pessler, it's Tuscany. So we are a company, so you can imagine the DNA of that as doers. We are executors. We are not perfect in drawing the big picture. We are the people of getting stuff done. And this wertfrei. So it's just how I learned this company ticks. So Tuscany, it's about tasks. And sometimes it's painful for the people involved in OKRs, as well as, for example, for me as an OKR coach. So this famous difference between output versus outcome. So if you imagine we're trying to create a big new feature or epic in our software, and of course we want to make it visible in OKR because it's important. And it might have sounded like this. And some disclaimer, of course, this is an invention example. I exaggerated a lot. There might be some truth in it, but it's over the top here. So when the people in the planning talked about, hey, we have to have an objective about this new feature and about how to bring it to the world, and it might have sounded like, yeah, we want to have 10 blog posts about our new feature XY. So the OKR coach in you might have some goosebumps. Oh, no. This is not a desired target state. It's just a kind of task. So you try to build a bridge. So, okay, 10 blog posts. What for? So that you want that, though that? Yes, though that we have 10 blog posts more than before. And again, no colleague ever said this. This is a little bit of invention of my little head. Okay, so I didn't like this phrasing as an OKR coach. I asked about key results. Yeah, key results are our graphics department created 15 visuals for this blog post, and the work group met at least 5 times because we learned you have to have some numbers in your key results. And of course, facepalm, it isn't helpful. It wasn't helpful. We had several key results and objectives that didn't give any orientation. Now we have this working backward thingy. It really, really helps already because it helps us to see the bigger picture. So what is it for? But it's about inspiring goals. Alan called it inspiring goals. And from one of my famous books, The Responsibility Process, I have a quote. Good goals lead to excitement, motivation, and a deep desire to do it. Hell, I cannot remember a single inspiring goal that created the deep desire in me to fulfill it. Not in a job context. Excitement and motivation. Yeah, motivation maybe, but excitement. it was okay, it was understandable, it was reasonable that we try to do this goal, to achieve it. Yes, clear, reasonable, but it was not, whoa, das wird so geil. It was just a goal. And then I finally started, or we as OKR or as coaches at Pesla started to read a book in our Agile book club. Probably most of you already know this book. And it was an eye opener in combination with OKR. OKR plus solution focused coaching for Agile teams. Agile Teams lösungsfokussiert coachen works like a charm. I read this book, or we read this book, and it was like, hey, they are talking about OKRs without talking about OKRs. So for those of you not knowing the concept of the book, I have one quote like this. Give you a second. And isn't that exactly what OKR is supposed to be? Beam yourself into the future, describe the desired target state, and find some indicators how to get there or to find out whether you're on the right track. This is actual OKR core mindset. If the people are able and willing to imagine this desired target state, they will automatically aim towards them because they already imagined it. And all the bunch of solution-focused questions for us Agile coaches, they work for OKR too. All these questions like, how would you know that you reach your target state? What would help you to be one step further on your journey? Or for example, we have this miracle question. So if you wake up 1 year from now and your problem went away, how would it look like? And let's try to do this miracle question with this little goal about our new feature XY in our software. So imagine it's 1 year from now and our new feature XY is the best thing we ever created. How would that look like? And imagine the people in this planning meeting would go on like, whoa, hey, if it works, that means we finally released it. That would already be cool to have it done and shipped. And the next colleague might add, yes, and it would cool to see that our customers actually use this feature. And the next one would add, whoa, and if we got feedback that it actually solves the problem of the user. Or, hey, how cool would it be if the user says, hey, you know what, we tweaked it a little bit and it solves additional problems because you created it in a very generic way. Oh, yes, that would be cool. And imagine we could copy it and develop the feature set out of it because let's do it generic. And whoa, you know what? In my head, it replaced this ugly legacy feature we tried to get rid of for several years. That would be cool to have this as a replacement. And in the end, you know what? Our partner added it as added a plugin to it because they love it so much. And not only our partners, our sales love it. Whoa! Actually, that would be quite a cool goal. And how to know that you're going into the right direction? Yeah, let's see. If the customers share their success stories with us, that would be an indicator. Or if they are willing to let us create blog posts out of it and create some success stories or white papers out of it, that would be an indicator. Or yeah, if some thought leaders invite us to conferences to talk about this thingy in our product, that would be an indicator. Number of conferences, yeah. Or whoa, an indicator would be if our sales guys want developers to join them for customer dates because they would love to have them demo the feature in a real environment. That would be an indicator that it's cool. Or even one step more craziness, if developers volunteer to go on sales dates, on pre-sales dates, that would be the ultimate measure of success. Whoa, Wouldn't that be cool to talk about goals in OKRs this style? For me, it would be super, super cool. It's just a final step to make a phrasing out of it that it works with all this OKR stuff. But that would be cool. We don't do it yet that much, but I'm very willing and eager to try it soon. We don't do it yet. And I, as an OKR coach, many times already fell in a trap also mentioned in the solution-focused book, this trap. And I'm guilty as hell. Always trying to find a better sentence. Isn't that what you want, dear colleagues? And yes, my sentence sometimes sounds nicer, but I turned it from their goal into my goal, taking the chance away to feel some commitment. And after reading that book, it felt like Schuppen von meinen Augen. I made it worse by trying to make it better. So the way we talk is way more important than at least I was aware. So when it comes to this solution talk in our OKR plannings, we are not there yet. So talking this inspiring future talk, in the end, we are a Franconian company, and enthusiasm is hard. And I see at least Dominic smile. He's a yes. You are the only video thumbnail I see. So we are not there yet. We are, as Franconians, actually better in say no, but I don't mean this kind of no, not no, I don't want to, no, go away. I mean saying no as a strategic tool. One more quote from the coaching habit: the essence of strategy is choosing what not to do. And this is even more important for me than choosing what to do. So keeping a focus, we purposely decide we will not do this, so that we can focus on that on purpose. And for you as an OKR coach, as a manager, it's your job to create an environment that people can and will say no. A strategic no. And that's the same environment you need for these healthy conflicts, the conflicts that are mentioned in The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, for example, another great book. So sharing ideas, having some friction, some healthy fights about the tools, making these hard decisions. Will we take this or this? We cannot have both. So creating a healthy environment for saying no. We are getting better and better, but we still suck at it. So we are not there yet. In the end, again, a Franconian company, ja, wir machen es doch eh. So we will do it anyway. We will do it outside of OKR. And that's not a good thing. Actually, that's a bad thing, because we are overwhelmed by work in progress. So we tried at Pessler, Toby and me, we tried to create some small visual helpers to make it easier for the people to say a healthy no. So this is just a screenshot of one of the big planning boards where we collaboratively shape our OKRs. And I will show you this little detail. It's just one of several little helpers. It's just a little matrix with how strategic is this goal you propose and how clear is it already. If it's very strategic and you already talked about it, so it's the upper right corner, then let's do not waste another blah, blah, blathering gefasel time about it, then just take it as an OKR. And on the other hand, if it's very unclear and it's not strategic at all, please do not talk about it yet. Do not waste time. So by placing, and this is a screenshot of a real OKR planning meeting a few months ago, it helps A, create room for no, and B, save a lot of time because we do less Gelaber. So in the end, it comes down to, and this is one of the most important takeaways, hopefully from my talk, dare to do inspiring goal talk. And this solution-focused mindset from this book is equal to OKR. It's the same thinking behind it. And it's mega important to have good conversation in an environment where healthy conflict and healthy no's are possible. We are working on it, but not there yet. So the last topic I want to share with you is to talk about check-ins. We call it OKR update meetings. We have it every 2 weeks. And for us, it's Tuscany again. We talk about what we did, what jobs are done, what tasks are closed. It's in a bad day, it sounds like my intro with all these purple and rainbow tasks. The people are cool, they are creative, they are dedicated, but we fell for some kind of reporting that nobody wants, not even our CEO. It's a cool guy, but we do it. We try to be busy, but the ugly truth is nobody is interested in what task you finished. I do not care what the task you finished, dear colleague. I want to know, beside all your numbers, are we still on track towards our goal? This is what this check-in is supposed to be about, not all these numbers. And when it comes to numbers, I have one more quote from a very cool book, Atomic Habits. Give you a second. And here too, I feel guilty as hell to have created key results just because it was so easy to put numbers on it. We put it as a goal just because it was a number. And maybe some of you know Goodhart's law. If a metric becomes a goal, it stops to be a real metric. So for me, might sound hard, metrics are the enemy of inspiring goals. Of course we need metrics, we need key results, but not for the sake of it. And for me, these smart goals that were invented a few years or decades ago have ruined our imagination. We forgot about the why of goals because we are so laser focused in making it measurable and put a timestamp on it. We forgot about the why. And the magic moment some month ago was in a check-in meeting when one of our product managers said, hey, I have a big bomb here. You see these key results? We will probably not make it. We are not even close. So I propose to freeze it. We replace it by this other key results. It helps you towards the goals. It's different than what we imagined 3 months ago. Completely different. It's not that cool, but at least it's something. And risk-wise, it would be the wider thing. We had a short, healthy conversation whether we should skip the former goal. We decided, hey, that's the best option. Let's do it. So bringing problems out to the open, making it visible. It's the same environment for creating healthy no's, being transparent, and we need more like this. It happens from time to time, but not as often as I wish for. We are not there yet, but the number of bombs increase, and that's a good thing. So the ahas here. These OKR check-ins are the area of psychological safety. If you don't feel like sharing what's really going on, OKR cannot act as an early warning system. And we really stop this urge to prove that we are busy. You don't have to prove it. You are at Pessler, you're already in the company. You don't have to prove anything. And be aware of the metrics obsession we sometimes fall for. At Pessler, we definitely fall for it on a regular basis. So bringing it all together. In the beginning, I showed some key points. I rephrased it. So think about from time to time, are you a citizen of Blurristan or Tuscany? Or maybe both? I speak for me, I wish for me that I dare to imagine inspiring goals way more often. I want to dare to have real conversation in this OKR process instead of just Gelaber. I want to dare to say no, and I want it to encourage my colleagues to say no in a strategic way. And I'm already on it, daring to kill stupid matrix. At Pessler, our status quo is, after more than 4 years, we still feel like OKR rookies. But we have the official mandate of our top management to still experiment, try out new things. They are in the middle of it. They help us experimenting, and that's actually quite cool. And a bit of Gelaber is okay. Sometimes waffling about some stuff. Yeah, I want to feel important too. And in the end, we want to try at Pessler to celebrate our learnings a bit more. And this is my last image here. We once did a retrospective for the OKR, just sharing tragedies and comedies of the last OKR year. So we made a timeline, and every single post-it note is a tragedy or a comedy that happened throughout the year. And it was really, really great. It was a conversation. It was a conversation about what we did, and it was an eye level from human being to human being. And I hope we still do it. And this is the end of my session. I don't know what will happen in the remaining open space. Think about, are you talking Blurristan or Tuscany? In the end, I don't care as long as we keep talking, and that's it. Thank you.